Curfew had already fallen. Boots echoed on cobblestone. Rifles clicked in the dark. And inside a one-room house lit by a single trembling candle, a woman in labor bit down on her own sleeve to keep from screaming. Because tonight, even a baby's first cry could get them all killed. This is the untold story of the midwife who chose speed over silence and helped deliver a future leader under occupation. Occupied Europe, 1943. The town was small, the rules were not. No lights after dusk, no gatherings, no travel without papers. Patrols swept the streets at random, searching for resistance fighters, hidden radios, or anything that hinted at defiance. Food was rationed, fear was not. Maria Nowak, 42 years old, widowed, a midwife by trade, had delivered nearly every child in the district. She knew the rhythm of labor. She knew the look in a mother's eyes when pain turned to panic. But under occupation, childbirth had become something else. It was loud, it was dangerous, and it could draw soldiers to your door. When the knock came that night, 3 sharp taps against her shutters, Maria already knew what it meant. The Kowalski girl, first baby, early labor, complications. The father whispered through the crack in the door, "Please, she won't last the night alone." Outside, a patrol passed at the corner. German voices, a dog. Maria looked at the clock. Curfew had begun an hour ago. Leaving her house meant arrest, maybe worse. She grabbed her bag. The streets were a maze of shadow. Maria kept to the alleys, shoes wrapped in cloth to muffle her steps. Twice she flattened herself against brick as patrols moved past, the metal glint of helmets catching the moonlight. When she finally slipped inside the Kowalski home, the air was thick with sweat and terror. The mother was already fading, too much blood. The baby was positioned wrong. Maria's jaw tightened. This would take time they did not have. Outside, somewhere in the distance, a truck engine growled, then stopped. A door slammed. The laboring woman began to scream. Maria pressed her hand over the girl's mouth, not cruelly, but desperately. "Breathe through it," she whispered, "for your child." The baby's heartbeat was slowing. If she worked slowly, carefully, as she'd been trained, she might save the mother. If she worked fast, risking mistakes, she might save them both before a patrol noticed. And if the baby cried too long after birth, the soldiers might come. Maria had seconds to decide, silence or speed. She chose speed. With steady hands and a racing heart, she turned the child. The mother nearly lost consciousness. Maria murmured prayers she hadn't spoken since her husband's funeral. Then, a final push, a rush of blood, and a baby slipped into her hands. For half a second, there was only silence. Then, the child inhaled and cried. It wasn't a small sound. It was fierce, defiant. Maria moved instantly. She wrapped the baby tight, pressing him against her chest to muffle the cry. The father shuttered the windows. The mother sobbed in exhausted relief. Outside, boots, close now. A beam of light cut across the shutters. The baby cried again. Maria leaned close to his ear and whispered, "Hush now. Live first. Shout later." The patrol paused outside the door. A dog sniffed. A fist knocked once against the wood. No one breathed. Then, from down the street, another noise, glass breaking, a man shouting. The patrol shifted direction, drawn toward the commotion. The boots faded. The truck engine roared back to life. And inside that small house, the baby finally fell quiet. Maria cleaned the child, stabilized the mother, and stayed until dawn. She left before the next patrol. She did not know what that boy would become. She did not know that he would grow up under the same occupation, watch neighbors disappear, see injustice stamped into daily life. She did not know that one day, decades later, he would stand before thousands, speaking about freedom, about dignity, about courage in the face of tyranny. She did not know that historians would study his speeches, that crowds would chant his name, that textbooks would print it in bold. All she knew was that a child needed breath, and she had given it to him. Occupation eventually ended. The town rebuilt. The world moved on. The boy grew. His story became public. Maria's did not. Her name was never in headlines. No statues carried her likeness. No medals clinked against her chest. But without her decision, without her choice, in that single fragile moment, history might have sounded very different. We often celebrate leaders. We quote their speeches. We frame their portraits. But before every leader is a beginning, a fragile first breath, a moment when someone else chose courage so they could live long enough to choose it too. Under curfew, under threat, under occupation, a midwife chose speed over silence, and history cried out because she did. History remembers victories, but it often forgets the hands that made them possible. And that is the untold spirit.